What exactly holds our universe together? It's a massive question we're still wrestling with today. But way back, over 1,000 years ago, one of Christianity's most brilliant minds, a man named John of Damascus, used that exact question as a launch pad to build a logical case for the nature of God himself. So let's dive in and see how he did it.
Okay, so let's start with the central question that John himself puts on the table. He just looks at the world around him and sees things that should be in total conflict, right? You've got fire and water, air and earth. And he just wonders, how does all of this stay in one piece without tearing itself apart? This really simple but super profound observation is the bedrock for his entire argument.
So, who was the man behind all these ideas? Well, John of Damascus was an absolute giant of Christian thought. But what I find really fascinating is his backstory. He was a high-ranking Christian official living in Damascus under the new Islamic Caliphate. You can just imagine. That unique position basically forced him to be incredibly precise, incredibly logical in how he defined and defended his own faith. His writing was so clear, so powerful, that he earned this amazing nickname, the Golden Stream. I mean, how great is that? It just perfectly captures how he could take these huge, complex, messy theological ideas and channel them into this logical, flowing system of thought that would literally shape intellectual history for centuries to come. So here's where his proof really kicks off. And what's interesting is, it doesn't start with a Bible verse. Nope. He starts with something everybody, anyone can see and experience. The world right in front of us. He's building a case based on philosophy, one that's open to anybody, believer or not. The logic he uses here is it's really powerful. He points out that the basic elements of nature should be at war with one another, yet they coexist in this incredible, stable balance. He argues that this just can't be an accident. It can't be random chance. For him, it has to point to an intelligent craftsman. The Greek word he uses is teknos, someone who not only designed this whole system, but is actively holding it all together. Okay, so let's say we accept that. There's a cosmic craftsman. But why just one? I mean, couldn't there be a whole committee of gods running the show? Well, John anticipates this question, and he tackles it head-on with a surprisingly simple and I think really intuitive piece of logic. His argument is pretty straightforward. Just imagine a country with like 10 different presidents all trying to rule at the same time. What would you get? You'd get conflict, competing laws, and eventually total chaos. The whole kingdom would just tear itself apart. So for John, the fact that our universe has order, that it continues to exist, well, that's the ultimate proof that there can only be a single unified ruler in charge. And this whole chain of reasoning leads him to this really powerful conclusion. This single ruler has to be perfect and without a beginning, because it created everything from nothing. And it must be the preserver and governor because, hey, the ordered universe is still here. So by definition, we're not just talking about a God, we're talking about the one ultimate reality. All right, so John has used pure reason to make a case for one God. But now we hit probably the most mysterious and central idea in all of Christian theology, the Holy Trinity. How can one God also be three distinct persons, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit? Let's take a look at how John breaks this down with his usual meticulous logic. First up, we have the Father. John defines him as the ultimate source of everything, the one who has no cause and no beginning. The key word here is unbegotten. The best way to think about it is like a foundational spring, the wellspring from which all divinity flows, but without having a source of its own. It just is.
Then we have the Son, who is also called the Logos, or the Word. Okay, now this is where our brains have to do a little stretching. The Son is begotten from the Father. But, and this is absolutely crucial, it's not in time. This isn't like a human birth. It's an eternal, timeless relationship. He has always existed as the perfect expression of the Father's own mind, his own wisdom.
And finally, we get to the Holy Spirit. John is incredibly precise here. The Spirit isn't unbegotten like the Father, and he's not begotten like the Son. Instead, the Spirit proceeds from the Father. This is a third, totally unique way of being, a distinct and pretty mysterious relationship that exists within the single Godhead. So let's just put this all together. You have one single divine essence, one power, one will. These are not three separate gods, but they are completely distinct in how they are, their mode of being. One is the source, one is eternally begotten, and one eternally proceeds. This is that mind-bending paradox right at the core of the Trinity, perfect unity and perfect distinction, happening at the exact same time.
So what's the big takeaway from all this? Why was this methodical, logical approach so important? And why does it still resonate with us today?
You know, the genius of John of Damascus was that he didn't just present a list of things to believe in and say, take it or leave it. He built an intellectual bridge. He started with reason that anyone could follow, and he used it to walk you, step by step, right up to the front door of faith. He gave belief a rational framework, one that could actually be explained, debated, and defended.
And really, this is where we're left. John of Damascus takes us on this incredible logical journey, and he takes us right to the absolute limit of what reason can map out. He can define the what, the distinct roles within the Trinity, but he knows that logic can't fully grasp the how. And his work leaves us with that timeless question: at what point does our reason have to give way to mystery?